channel is Sunny V2, Cocomelon, the most evil channel on YouTube. Let's zoom in. I'll see how bad, if it's like, if I need to zoom out or not. I thought about like having a layout. I thought about that because others have a layout. I don't know how far I wanna, like, what I wanna do with that. We'll see. But yeah, let's jump into it.
My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of
Let me go back. What? What? Adventure Time is a cool kids show too. I heard that Adventure Time is good. I've also heard that Adventure Time eventually fell off.
My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk.
What? Baby Einstein was the home video series that introduced babies to various aspects of the arts with music. Simple yet colorful characters and bright sets. It's an interesting history. Is that with the blue, with the red, ship? Because then I know what it is. Because I've watched that a lot.
There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes in which parents mention the exact same problem. The Cocomelon show is so insanely addictive, it's being compared to nicotine.
What the hell? So children are addicted to this? And speech therapy? What?
Causing developmental issues amongst the kids who
ADHD.
can't stop watching.
7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD!
Children's TV expert Jerica Sands calls it the most damaging show a child can watch, explaining the sneaky ways in which they make the show addictive. Firstly, there's the colors. Take for example the wheels on the bus. The 3 main colors, blue, green and yellow, are all at maximum saturation, meaning they cannot be made any brighter no matter how hard you try. Extreme saturation is normally used for alerts and notifications, as it's exciting.
Okay. So, using color to have the kids pay more attention. I guess.
Dynamic and attracts attention, which is why it's also used in slot machines. Cocomelon puts these colors in perfect contrast, making them appear even more vibrant, which is different to, for example, Bluey, in which the colors instead blend together. Cocomelon's also different.
Old Barbie movies were the best. The more fantasy, the better. Like, the old movies were actually pretty interesting to watch, even as a dude.
Because it's highly repetitive. There's a reason they have 38 videos with over 1 billion views.
Huh? That many views? Cocomelon is a prime example of why even seemingly safe for children shows need to be monitored by parents all the time. Why children shouldn't have iPads? Pretty much, yeah. In the billions. I mean, this is, I guess this is average, like, YouTube Kids views, because the things that go crazy.
A child's brain is wired to learn through repetition, so it feels right to them to watch the same thing over and over again. Cocomelon abuses this in almost every video. For example, in the Yes Yes Playground song, they pick a word to repeat 3 times in every sentence, pairing it with a subtly repeating background lullaby, keeping children hooked. Literally no show or movie puts my son into a deep trance the way Cocomelon does. The second it's on the TV, he turns into a toddler zombie who doesn't see or hear anything else that's going on in the room. This is only exacerbated by Cocomelon's subtitles, which have also been a heavy point of criticism. The letters are
Okay, so it's pretty much just how to put it, brain rot, but for even younger kids. It is what this is. Also, I am fully aware that kids do repeat, like, learn through repetition. When, for example, like, even like primary schools kids do this, where they for example, repeat the teacher or other stuff. So That makes sense. It's interesting that somebody has found a way to abuse that in like that learning habit in a negative way, in a commercialized way. That's interesting. I guess people do always find a way to use the most basic thing to commercialize that. Jigglypuff is perfect. Kids should be taught about them at school. Jigglypuff.
Are not educational. I can barely read them fast enough. It's simply another interesting element to capture your little one's attention. Cocomelon explains in every description, our goal is to help make learning a fun and enjoyable experience for kids, giving you the peace of mind that your children are receiving quality educational content. But people have
No, you might as well use Dora the Explorer. Or like her cousin? The boy? I don't know. uh Also, I kind of find the animation kind of horrendous. But that's with most 3D animations, like for kids nowadays.
have argued that they're teaching exactly what children shouldn't do. For example, in the No No Bedtime song, the baby refuses to brush his teeth, have a bath, put on pajamas, or get in bed. The education is that he eventually agrees to do so, yet a TikTok user was critical, stating, anytime I'd ask my son to do a simple task, he'd say no, no, no. He's sitting there watching Cocomelon, which taught him no, no, no.
So, pretty much kids are taking up bad habits from watching this show. Yo, Croc, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, Dora the Explorer. Well, it's kind of not, like, I don't think they have continued anything, because I haven't seen it in a while, so I wouldn't know. But I think this would still have a bigger educational purpose than whatever this is.
And to say no to me. On the topic of education, Jericho-san stated, these people don't give a shit about our children. They care about money. That's it. Your child's cognitive development in direct exchange for their wealth, and
Be back later. I don't know why, but this video makes me uncomfortable, and it's not even the fault of the channel uploading it. Understandable. Understandable. Of course. What did you expect? What is it about? Like, genuinely teaching kids anything? That idea has died a while ago.
there's pretty good evidence supporting this. A New York Times journalist visited Cocomelon's studio, discovering their #1 focus is keeping children hooked. Cocomelon's data and analytics team sifts constantly through YouTube numbers to determine exactly what resonates. Should a girl wear black jeans or blue jeans? Should the music be louder or softer? Should the bus be yellow or red? Yellow is the answer, as they use a darker method to ensure that they're correct.
So pretty much what they're attempting to pretty much is to push watch time to the absolute limit of what you can get. And because those videos have a very long watch time, or a lot of watch time, they're easier to push further. YouTube will promote them easier. They really are farming this pretty much.
Cocomelon has a dedicated Distractotron room, in which once a month children are brought here one at a time and shown a handful of episodes to figure out exactly which parts of the shows are engaging and which are tuned out.
Huh? You know what this reminds me of? Like, you just like one of those like older shows where people were like brainwashed. And like you put them in a room, in front of them is a TV, they're like strapped to a chair, and then they get brainwashed. This is the scenario I have with those kids. They're getting brainwashed. This is some supervillain type stuff.
Next to the TV playing Cocomelon, there's a second screen which plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes. A guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut, each lasting about 20 seconds. Whenever a youngster
They are really brainwashing them. This is it. Croc is perfect. Understandable. It is. They are really brainwashing kids in there. That is insane.
Looks away from the Moonbug show to glimpse the Distractotron, a note is jotted down. We can see what they're looking at and the exact moment when they got distracted. Therefore, education clearly isn't the primary goal. Keeping
What
kids'
the
attention
fuck?
is, and this is proven by Cocomelon's most addictive element, rapid camera cutting. It's crazy how many times the frame changes on Cocomelon. It's the same type of
Yeah, the ADHD editing pretty much just like when that's why I can't watch Mr. Beast videos pretty much because the editing is just too much ADHD for me. It's just too much. I, I can't watch these videos. Um, so pretty much they're applying the same thing here.
behavior that we experience on a TikTok binge. It's the quick change of frame that releases that dopamine and makes the videos addicting to watch. Count the seconds between a change of frame. Well, TikToker the Circus Brain did exactly this. He firstly counts the changes on My Little Pony, concluding there's about 6 seconds between each cut. He then compares it to Cocomelon.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1.
A different angle. A different angle. Each second. Oh man. Honestly, take when Baby Shark came out. That's when the world went to shit. Around that time, I would say. Yeah, around that time. Does this change your answer to Cocomelon versus Disney? Yeah. Yeah. This is just like this is so weird. Well, I do think Disney is still more evil on like the grand scheme of things, but this is also evil. I still consider Disney more evil because of the agenda that they push. Because like you have to make the differentiation, right? This is brain rot for kids, and the other thing is pretty much Marxist ideology.
1, 2, 1.
In her video, The Nightmare That Is Cocomelon, Savantix draws a similar conclusion. She found that 96% of the shots in Baby Shark were shorter than 2 seconds. She then compares 4 different animated shows, again finding Cocomelon has the shorter shots.
The longest shot on a Cocomelon video was 6 seconds. The longest shot on Arcane was 8 seconds. The longest shot on Bluey was 27 seconds. And the longest shot on Encanto was 18 seconds.
Which when combined with every other element, creates some terrifying statistics. Dr. Chris...
Well, you also have to, you can't like compare Arcane to like Cocomelon, because Cocomelon is specifically targeted towards kids, but so that's even worse, considering that this stuff is for kids. 6 seconds is not that long.
Summer explained that when showing an infant normal video content, they'll focus on the screen just 11% of the time. However, when the video is instead switched to Cocomelon, their screen engagement skyrockets to a whopping 74%.
Yeah, that watch time goes crazy. Wow. That is insane. This is literally drugs for children. This is literally drugs for children.
This therefore produces stories such as this. I used to volunteer for a preschool and they had song time. A Cocomelon video came on and all of the tots stopped what they were doing, put down their cheese crackers, and remained fixated on the screen for the duration of the video. It was honestly kind of terrible.
So there was a teacher that put this on. I would assume, or like, yeah. Well, thankfully we don't do that here in Germany. What we do is like, we have like a different show where kids can pretty much, it's pretty much like news, with what they watch pretty much before like the break. So at least we have that.
Terrifying. YouTuber Saberspark shared his own personal anecdote. He asked to watch a Disney movie with his two younger cousins, who both completely refused, and instead spent all day glued to an iPad playing the addictive show. In Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, a mother talks about her son. He would be in a daze while watching it. You could be waving your hand right in front of his face, and he wouldn't move. It was almost scary. This was also discovered by Sarah Mills 98, who explained when the Cocomelon addiction is so real that my 1-year-old can navigate the TV to turn it on by him.
Look at that face. Look at that face. Bro is literally drooling. Wow, okay. I didn't expect the 1-year-old to do that, but apparently that's a thing. I did not expect a 1-year-old to be able to do that. That's wild though.
Himself. However, nothing shows the addiction better than the Cocomelon TikTok trend. Parents will play the show's intro loudly and video their kids sprinting toward the television, where you can witness their mood change instantly. The New York Times journalist found something similar. The kid in the Distractotron had shown up in the midst of a tantrum, which ended the second he heard the Cocomelon.
That is so weird. That is so weird. That's like, I don't know. It's like a cat when you like shake like a bag of snacks, and the cat just runs around the corner. That's pretty much this, but with kids. What? No, that wasn't the thing when I was that age. Though I don't think my parents did want me to watch TV that much anyways.
Theme song. It was no surprise to Wheeler, the head of research. 99% of kids, he said, if they're having issues when they get here, once that Cocomelon song comes on, they're like, life is okay, all is good with the world. Obviously.
Okay, I'm still picking Cocomelon. Maybe. But I think like Disney still push, in my opinion, pushing a more destructive narrative. Rattle VR, hi, how are you doing? But Disney made good things too. Yeah, back in the day. I think about it. We wouldn't have the masterpiece that is the Disney sequel trilogy without them. Star Wars, fuck that.
Obviously, there's a reason for this. Cocomelon is so hyper-stimulating that it actually acts as a drug, and what happens when you take the drug away. Young children experiencing symptoms of addiction and withdrawal, obviously leaving them completely dysregulated. TikTok user ThePoff1 filmed what happens when you take the show away, explaining he'll be inconsolable for at least 10 to 15 minutes after, adding
This weirds me out. This genuinely weirds me out. This really went over my head. I did not know that. I really did not know that.
in the description, Cocomelon Meltdown is legit. Once you have a taste of the cocoa, it's hard to break the addiction, which this Reddit user had experienced even worse. My husband and I have been worried about our child. I can slowly see how she'd throw violent tantrums at home and in church whenever she'd get bored and would want to watch the show. Her behavior changes the moment she watches the show, and she will not even eat her meals if she wouldn't watch it. After these tantrums end,
That's like eating without watching YouTube, pretty much. This is wild. I understand that there's kids who like do develop a hyperfixation on a certain show. I mean, that can happen. But being violent, I don't think that should be that is considered normal. Or like just really just wanting to watch that show all the time. I think that's weird. I think that's not something that should happen.
and kids can experience a general discomfort in the speed of everyday life. The more they watch the show, the more their brain begins to expect this intense level of stimulation.
Basically, Cocomelon overstimulates their brains so much that everything else just seems slow and boring.
So pretty much just porn addiction, but for kids. pretty much on the same level as that. That is interesting to see.
in comparison.
However, the potential consequences get much worse than this. As mentioned at the start, it was the cause of a child's speaking problems, with a notable reply reading, "Same thing happened with my daughter too. She's 4 but can't speak properly. She knows the words, but she does not like to frame the sentence or speech. She has been watching these
You can push that even further. You see, you can push that even further. More and more primary school kids struggle even they struggle to read, they struggle to write, they struggle to be able to explain a story that they have read. I worked with a student who you could let him read 2 pages of a kid's book from 1st grade. He was a 4th grader. When I asked him what happened on those 2 pages, bro told me a completely different story. And this isn't like an isolated issue. There's more and more kids who just can't speak properly. They can't write properly. They can't even memorize what happened on like 2 pages of a kid's book. That's how bad it is.
melons or such other stuffs for 2 or 3 years. Hope we're not too late. Over on Reddit, a speech-language pathologist explained, screen time in general is linked with speech delays for a variety of reasons, but Cocomelon is excessively bad. Firstly, unlike other TV shows or movies, it doesn't have a story. It's just very short clips with poorly written songs. The kids aren't able to follow the plot, learn vocabulary, and see the resolution of a conflict, supported by infant specialist Meg Fora.
And the problem with fast-paced TV programs is that we find that little one's language development is slower.
On the Agents of Speech YouTube channel, this is again confirmed.
The main problem with watching videos on the internet is that they don't know how to use the language that they learn.
But he adds that 4 to 5 hours of screen time per day can make a toddler completely non-verbal. 4 to 5
God, imagine using Radio Reddit. I got no idea. A lot of kids are over that time of 4 to 5 hours. A lot of children. I don't know. On one side, the creators of that show are evil. On the other side, I need to direct my attention also to the parents who do not take accountability in taking proper care of their children and not letting them watch that. So, while the fault is also on, like, totally didn't mess that up. It is... How do I put this? I think a lot of parents nowadays do have no accountability for what they're putting their kids through, pretty much. So yeah, the creators of that show, or videos, whatever you want to call it, is it even a show? I don't know. At this point, the creators of Cocomelon are not good people, but the parents are at least as much at fault as they are.
5 hours is obviously a lot of time, but in Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, researchers discovered that 5-year-olds who watch more than 2 hours of TV a day tended to have lower attention spans and were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD.
So this is in general to watching TV more than 2 hours. Okay. Interesting to know. Interesting.
These screen times might be even lower for Cocomelon specifically, because as explained by Jerica Sands, not all screen time is created equal. A child who just watched 30 minutes of Cocomelon and a child who just watched 30 minutes of Trash Truck will look like a very, very different child. Thankfully, here lies a simple solution. Sierra Renee explained, my 2-year-old is speech delayed and addicted to Cocomelon. Switched to Miss Rachel 2 days ago, and he's already saying more words and hasn't had any tantrums. Kim Game.it shared an almost identical anecdote. My 8-month-old was obsessed with Cocomelon and having bad tantrums, so I cancelled Cocomelon and only let her watch Miss Rachel, and she said her first word within the first 3 days of watching. Clearly, parents are able to simply change the channel.
Yeah, parents are able to do that if they realize that something is wrong. Most parents, however, don't spend that much time with their children anymore. I think so. When I was working at a school, I'm gonna bring up a lot of stories from that time because that is the most extensive time I spent with kids. A lot of parents don't spend a lot of time with their kids. They're in school from like 7:50 a.m. to 5 p.m. At worst, 5 p.m. at worst. And after that, the kids usually have like some kind of like sports club or hobby, and then they come home and then like they spend an hour with their parents and then go to bed. That is pretty much what this is. That is pretty much what this is. Yeah. Difficult to say.
But not before leaving Cocomelon a massive amount of dislikes. They've therefore earned the title, the absurdly popular kid show parents hate, and Cocomelon has actually responded to the criticism that explain our shows are not intended to replace outdoor playtime or playdates. They have a place in children's entertainment time, and as with food, exercise, etc., it comes down to each parent to find the right and appropriate balance for their children. Our responsibility is ensuring that the quality of the content that we produce is high and beneficial for the development of a child's cognitive and soft skill.
These motherfuckers are lying through their teeth. You are exploiting children. You are not producing any high quality content. That is not what you're doing. You're lying through your teeth. And I'm back as it seems the videos as though the video is almost over. Dragon Ball Brain activated.
It is worth
Can't
adding
read.
that our social media communities are filled with stories of parents who experience firsthand how Moonbug content helps their children. Cocomelon does have a crazy amount of supporters, but it's obvious that some of them are simply ignoring the downsides. My baby learned the alphabet and numbers from Cocomelon. She may not speak a complete sentence, but she expresses her wants through phrases. But is it Cocomelon's responsibility to ensure that babies are talking? Well, no. People love blaming cartoons and games for raising children, and not the shitty parents that don't step in to stop them from watching so much. Cocomelon is actually
You can look at this from two sides. You can look at this from two sides. Okay? Is it the cartoon's fault, like the show's fault, alone by itself? No, the parents are also at fault. Do you need to make a show that exploits children's attention to make money? Also, no. There are better ways to do this if you want to make money. Two things can be true at the same time. At one time, they are at fault, but at the same time, the parents are also at fault. If you want a good show for children on YouTube, I recommend The Railways of Crutunia. I'd explain it, but live chat is restriction exists. I know what I'm gonna show my kids when I have any. It's gonna be older shows.
a really sad symbol of parents giving their children tablets instead of actually parenting and interacting with them. Ultimately, parents are the people who choose how much their child consumes.
So, pretty much what I would say, okay? Parents at fault? Cocomelon creators at fault. Very, very simple. Very simple. I think that is the fault of the cartoon and the parents. The parents aren't taking steps to ensure what the kids watch is safe, and Cocomelon is capitalizing on early childhood development. Pretty much. Both are at fault.